Hey guys, what's happening? Hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of AEZ All Elite Zone. Great to see everybody as we start episode 24. This is great. So it's great to have a full house tonight. And Adam, I'll start with you. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Happy to be back on. Always love joining my friends up in the Northern Hemisphere.
Awesome. And I love the shirt. That one of the great Canadian favorites, the Slammy Award winning.
Yes,
Owen
absolutely. I
Hart.
always have to represent my favorite mid-card wrestler, Owen Hart.
He's amazing. He really, if he was around today, my God, he'd be a champion. The way he can work. Siren, how are you doing today? How was your week so far?
Absolutely awesome. Got my All Elite crate in the mail, so that was super fun. Got to do my unboxing for that. Also super fun. And yeah, no, other than that, pretty good.
Oh, maybe next week you can show us some of the goodies that came in the crate.
Well, I'm wearing one. I got my Adam Copeland shirt here, and then I got my little "He's Our Scumbag" pin. Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Connor, how are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Yeah, it's been a pretty good day, I guess.
Well, I see you're smiling. You don't usually get
It's
a nice continuous smile like that, so that's good to see.
just some news that I got that I'm excited about.
Oh, good.
Good. Yay.
And we have a new first-time member on the show, Mr. Hartgrave. Welcome. And how are you?
Yes, from parts unknown. So I've been in the All Elite Zone before, but never here in Canada, which is fitting for me because I hail, parts unknown is unknown. But word is I was born in Alaska, which is pretty close to Canada.
That is pretty close.
It's not far away.
No.
Very cool.
But I'm happy to be here.
Great. Well, it's nice to have you. We got a full house, so we'll dive in this week. We're looking at Dynamite, our last episode. Adam, if you want to start us off and how the show started.
Yeah, we actually started out with a match this week. I know there's been last couple of weeks we actually been starting out with segments, but this week we started out with a match, and it was the TNT Championship match between Christian Cage and Dustin Rhodes. It was actually a really good match, back and forth. Obviously, Christian Cage had his patriarch family there by ringside. There was a lot of back and forth. There's some shenanigans on the outside. Nick Wayne got involved, Killswitch got involved, but in the end, Christian Cage did retain that TNT Championship. It was a really good match. Dustin Rhodes just keeps getting better and better. I think this is like his best work in his career outside of his Goldust work in the early WWF days. But I love what he's doing now with the Natural character, and it's since he's gotten over to AEW to do that, I think he's had some of the best matches in AEW. So I was really excited to see him do that. And then also the Christian just keeps getting better and better every week too as a heel champion, and I just can't wait to see where they go with it.
Great points. I don't disagree. Siren, what are your thoughts from this one?
This is definitely my match of the night for sure, and I think a lot of other people would agree with me. It was super awesome. It definitely told a story in the ring. I was like, I do the levitating thing when I get really excited. You guys should watch our live reactions because you'll totally see it at least twice, I think, during this match. But yeah, I love Dustin Rhodes. I love watching him wrestle, and as much as I knew he wasn't gonna win, I totally wanted him to win, and I had like excitement for that the entire time, so it was good.
Great. Connor, were you excited, as excited for this match as Siren was?
Yeah, this match was my favorite match of the night as well. I really want to tell you guys what I'm smiling about, but I can't.
Tell us off air. Tell us off air.
Can you tell us on the show or off the show?
Dustin Rhodes and Christian Cage is my favorite match of the night. I actually thought that Dustin Rhodes could have pulled it out there for a minute. I thought he could have pulled it out. There was a lot of near falls in the match, and it was back and forth. Of course, the numbers game with Christian Cage kind of dominated that, but that was a really good back and forth match, and probably one of Christian Cage's best TNT Championship title defenses that he's ever had. This match was my favorite match of the night as well.
All right, Mr. Hartgrave, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a great match. I love it when Dynamite starts off with a wrestling match instead of a promo spot. I think that's a good way to set the tone for what AEW does. However, I believe this match was held back by one thing, And then lack of Nigel McGuinness on commentary. If it's a Christian Cage match, I want Nigel on commentary. If he's not there, I'm going to miss him. I kind of realize that he is a lot of the magic that happens with Christian Cage, or Christian Cage, I should say appropriately. I really miss Nigel, but it was a really good match regardless.
Great. And you know what? I agree with you. Nigel is he's actually great, and he complements Christian, the character, really well. I love some of his humor, so I definitely agree with you on that.
He's so much of it, just yelling about what a great father he is usually. It's just fantastic. It really takes it to the next level. It was a good wrestling match, but that commentary really brings it up.
I agree, and you know what? We talk about. I'm right now. I am probably the biggest fan of Dustin Rhodes that I've ever been in. He's always been a great wrestler. And he's expanded. Being those kind of characters and having the courage to be some of those characters, like Goldust during a time. It wasn't easy to be that kind of character. And to come back and just the way we've talked about it, his movements, he can still make anyone look great. And as I was watching this, and you guys might remember this or might know this, did Christian ever fight Dustin in like WWE back in the day at all? I mean, I know there must have been crossover. I was kind of curious, and I never looked it up until I thought about it just now. But I was watching and going, you know what? These guys really work together, and they're both old school. Did they ever fight? Because they had some good chemistry. And again, I think it was a great. I love the opportunity that they gave Dustin. He's been working hard. And he's getting those opportunities. And hey, if this is his last run, I think it's a great last run for him. And he's going out like a champ. Maybe not literally, but you know what I mean? He's going out on a high note, which is great.
Yeah, no, if anything, I think if they ever tangled in WWF, it was during tag matches. That's the only time I can think of maybe when they were in ring together, because that's in WWF, it was always Christian and Edge together. There's only like a time split of where Edge and Christian went solo, but then they always came back together as a team. So
they did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. 2003.
Wow, 20 years ago. Or 21 years ago?
Yeah, it was in 2003.
What does it say what it was?
Yeah, it was actually on Raw, and it looks like they did it twice actually in 2003, April 14th and was it March 26th, both on Raw.
That's when Goldust was doing that stuttering thing because he got shocked on the.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, it's good. And you know what? Good for them. Yeah. Probably it was a match that they were looking forward to doing together for such a long time. And they're both in great shape. So they're a testament to their training and keeping in shape. So with that, Adam, we'll go on to the next match.
Well, the next match was actually one of my favorite matches. It might have been my match of the night because you guys know I love tag matches. It was Penta and Commander versus Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. It was a really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed the chemistry all four men had in the ring. You had some great spots. You had obviously almost like a Panama Sunrise kind of pile driver move from Penta all the time, coming off the back. I think it was off the back of of Commander, I believe. But it was a really good back and forth match, and it ended up with Cassidy and Beretta beating them in the middle of the ring. But again, I love tag team wrestling. The one spot that I really liked was the Penta countering the tornado DDT and then super kicking OC. It was a really cool sequence. It was a really cool move set. It was really awesome. But yeah, I think those four put on really good chemistry. I think I'd love to see those guys team again and have another tag match because I really enjoyed it.
Great. Siren, your thoughts?
I really loved it as well. Although I did make myself sad during our live reaction of this one because I definitely did accidentally call Commander. Oh gosh. Bandito, and I made myself sad because we were thinking about Bandito from this whole thing earlier, and so I said it out loud and I made myself really sad. But the match itself was really good. I do like how a lot of the luchas in AEW, I find that when they go to do a spot, if they don't have the exact proper footing, I've seen Commander do it and I've seen Vikingo do it, where they will actually come at it again and make it look so fluid, and it's safe. It's not like they're going to take that spot from a risky foot position, and I like seeing that. So yeah, it was good. I like it. Aside from making myself sad.
Connor, to you, sir.
I thought this was a pretty decent match. I've said it before, but I'm not a fan of Commander. I feel like Ray Phoenix can do what he can do, but better and make more sense. Not to say that he's a bad wrestler, because I feel like last year I went to the best Rampage match last year, and it was Ray Phoenix and Commander. I don't know. I just he's not Ray Phoenix. I look at Pentagon, and I'm supposed to be seeing Phoenix, but I see a little guy that. But Commander, I like Commander. He's just not one of my favorites, but this match in particular I thought was really good. And they've been giving Trent Beretta a lot of wins here lately. He almost won the was it the
It was the
TNT battle?
Rumble. Yeah.
The TNT Chains battle. Yeah.
Mhm.
World's End, I believe. He almost won that, and then he won the 5-way. He went against Kingston and lost, but he still won the 5-way, and then he actually got the pin in this match. So I like that they've been giving him a lot of a lot of wins here lately. But I thought this match was a pretty decent match.
Good. Mr. Hargrave, were you a fan of this match?
Yeah, solid match. I think my favorite part actually was seeing Ray at the start. It was cool just to see him walk down with him. He wasn't in his gear or anything. He's probably got a ways to go before he's back in the ring, but I like that. I agree with Connor about Commander kind of being a bit of a charisma vacuum. I mean, it's rough. He's like the lesser of all of the luchadors that they have, and you have him up against, the Lucha Brothers and Vikingo. I mean, it's really tough competition to stand out. If he was the only one, I don't think we would be saying these things. I think he would look all the more amazing, but he's really got a high bar to cover. I thought this was a good showing for him, not his best. And I still want to see more from him. I think he's cool, but yeah, absolutely. He's got a high bar to hurdle over there.
Yeah. You know what? It was, I think he's put into a tough spot. He's not you cannot replace the chemistry that the Lucha Brothers have, obviously, right? But I think you said, he's put in there. I think he did still do a good job. They're still giving the ability to have like a Lucha match like that, have the Bros. And Penta is my ultimate favorite appearance looking for a guy I love his package. I love his face paint. I love the outfits. I love everything about Penta. I think it's great. If I was going to be a wrestler to one of the character, like that's where I would want to be in that look. I don't even want to see what he looks like under that, because I think it's going to ruin it for me, because that's what he looks. That's him to me. I don't even want to see his face. So I really hope when he keeps on covering his face up, because I don't want to be disappointed. It's kind of like Kylo Ren taking off the helmet at first. It's like, no. Anyways, I segue there, but pretty solid match. And I know we've been talking in the last couple of weeks that Trent has been getting a bit of a push, and they're starting to emphasize his mean streak. He's getting tough. Look at him go at it. And then they gave him that nice finish. So I think there's a big push there. I don't think this is the end of Trent being that. I actually think that he's going to end up being a singles wrestler, and that he's going to go turn heel and turn on best friends. That's my prediction. But we'll see. That might be a few weeks off anyways. But overall, pretty good match. And from there, we segue over to.
Well, as a little bit of a segue, after that match, the Kingdom and Roderick did come out, and Roderick did approach Orange and challenge him for a title match at Revolution, which I believe will go Roderick Strong's way. That's my prediction. I do believe out of some interference from the Kingdom or whatever, Roderick will find a way to beat Orange Cassidy and win that international championship. That way, majority of Adam Cole's undisputed Kingdom holds gold. So, but that was right after the match. But after that, we had another title match. A lot of title matches on this episode. We had this Ring of Honor 6-man title, tag titles, with the Mogul Embassy taking on the Bullet Club Gold. This one was really awesome. But before that, they had a segment. Obviously, we were celebrating the anniversary of the passing of Jay Briscoe. So Mark Briscoe came out, kind of paid homage to his brother, and also mentioned about how his oldest niece was told she was never going to walk again, and they walked out. I did grow teary-eyed as a grown man. I teared up because that's emotional. You know, I have a brother, so I'm like, and I have nieces and a nephew, so I'm like, this hits me in the hard spot, you know. So I thought it was a beautiful little segment for that. And then they had an interview with Renee with the Young Bucks before the tag team match, and they mentioned a cancerous wrestler, the superstars, i.e. CM Punk. Sorry, Connor. That they were pretty much aiming at that, but it was it's something different from the Bucks. I didn't think I would see something like that. So before I go on the match, if you want to move on to people's, opinions on those two segments, Matt.
Sure, Siren.
I am super excited for the Young Bucks. I am so excited for the Young Bucks. I've always thought that they were super, super talented. I know everybody hates them, and it's always like this really personal, like, oh, I hate them because of it has nothing to do with their actual in-ring ability. It's always something really personal. So they're like leaning into that. They like grow the douchebag mustaches and the Matthew, and I love it. Play into people's hatred. You already have the natural heat. Just fan the flames. I'm there for it. I'm loving it. I think it's going to be so great, and I can't wait to see what all the weird little trolls online are going to say about it. It's going to be awesome.
Connor, did you have any thoughts on these segments?
Not really. I mean, I don't know what I never really. I mean, I've liked the Young Bucks, but I've never been like a big fan of theirs, or I actually met them one time. They were very nice, but. Yeah, I think I'm really excited for Sting and Darby potentially going for the tag titles. Them, because this kind of all relates to that because their promo was about Sting's final match, and Sting and Darby said that they were going for the tag titles. So, like the match being for the tag titles and Sting winning, retiring as a champion, sounds really good. So, yeah,
I think that would be nifty.
Mr. Hardgrave, your thoughts on any segments?
Wow. To dial it back, I wanted to ask Adam, did you feel like it was too soon for Roderick and for Orange Cassidy to set that matchup? We got 7 weeks until Revolution. It just seems like I don't know what the build's going to be on that one.
To me, the better to set these matches up long time in advance is much better to where you get people excited for the card. It's pretty much the same like stigma for a lot of promotions. They try to build the card weeks, maybe months in advance just to get people interested in buying the tickets and maybe doing the buy-in for the pay-per-view. So I think this was a smart decision for them to set a match, because you've only got maybe one match already set up at Revolution, and that's Sting's last match.
But
so you've only got that match.
Doesn't it kind of kill everything in the middle? Like we already know where that's going. And then we had this announcement recently on Collision that the ratings are back. The rankings are back. But they don't matter. We already have the match set up at Revolution. I don't know. It just kind of fizzled for me knowing that far ahead of time. But I also see what you're saying as well.
Siren, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from, Mr. Hartgrave, with like I've noticed they've done it a few times, especially with championship matches that they set up, and then they have matches in between where you're like, oh, is he gonna lose the belt? Well, fucking no, he's not.
No.
He's not. Like, no, he's not. Of course he's not. We have this match to look forward to. If he lost the belt, then this match, is not going to be worth anything. And they did try to fix it. The last time they announced it, what I felt too early. They definitely in their announcing around the matches up to to it, they did try to the match will still happen even if he doesn't have it, and they tried to fix the wording, but it did. I can see where you're coming from, taking a little bit of the excitement away. But Adam, on your point, they didn't do any advertising at all or anything for the Canadian tour that they did up here, and it was awful. So I don't know where I stand on that. Viewers, if anybody has any opinions on that, please let us know, because I would love to hear it. I am confused. I am on both sides of this. What about you guys?
Well, I agree. I do like the old school way, kind of what Adam mentioned, is that build up, how it used to be in WWE when you had your 4 or maybe 5 pay-per-views in a year. So you had a lot of time to develop these matches and storylines. So I think because they've announced it, there's going to be something good about this. Like you can't. I mean, Mr. Hargrave, like you mentioned,
I tend to trust AEW. I just feel like, how am I like? I'm curious. I'm curious how they're going to surprise me at making me care about any match in between.
I agree.
I hope they do.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think I agree with Adam saying that I think that Roderick's going to take this one because I think they're just going to build up the gold to have the kingdom. I think that makes sense. I'm just not sure about Roderick's mustache. I'm not sure.
I miss insane, goofy Roderick. Adam. I miss that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like serious Roderick. I'm not a fan. I don't know. I really
can't
like
take
what
serious Roderick serious, especially
Can't
with
do
his
it.
nose neighbor. Especially with the nose neighbor. Like that's gotta go.
It's not working for
I
me.
hear you. All right, so we move from that segment over to.
We finally move into the
That's
Ring
our
of
match.
Honor 6-man tag, which, by the way, was a great match. It was a lot of back and forth. Mogul Embassy always puts on solid matches. I actually love that group. I think they're such an underrated group in pro wrestling today. And they definitely need more exposure on TV other than just Ring of Honor. Just because I love Toa. Toa is probably my favorite guy in that group. I don't know why, but there's something about him that I like. He's got a style that I like. Anyways, they go back and forth, a lot of near falls, and end up Bullet Club Gold wins the Ring of Honor 6-man tag. And it was a shocker to me, even though I kind of felt like they were going to win because I thought it was time for them to get some gold, especially Jay White. For as long as he's been doing AEW television and been in AEW, I think it was about time for him to get gold. I just don't think it was Ring of Honor gold was the right thing. I honestly would have loved to see him win the international title at one point, maybe even the TNT title. But it was really cool. And then you also got at the end, you had Daddy Ass and the Acclaim at the top of the stage staring down at Bullet Club Gold. And I'm not going to make any spoilers, but I'm sure everybody knows they form a group.
Yeah.
But that's my take on that.
Siren.
I really love the match. I agree with you, Adam. As somebody who watches a lot of Ring of Honor, like I get to see them all the time. but I do feel like they should be on AEW television a lot more. They're very talented. And as you said, Toleon, he's like, to me, he's probably one of my favorite like looks for big men, and then it's followed by Black Toros, just because like wow, that is so crazy. But yeah, you're right. He has that look. I love it. And then I'm just because the match was good. I have nothing super special to say about it aside from the fact that it's super awesome. And the whole bang bang scissor gang thing is not for me. I am not in on that. I'm still, and I've brought it up on the podcast before, like I don't understand. I don't get it. Especially with Anthony Bowens leading the charge on that, like let's get together thing. When he was so against the whole MJF team up thing, and like I don't know, it just seems really wishy-washy for me character wise for Bowens because he seems such a passionate character, like to flip-flop like that, just I don't know. And I'm gonna take this quick moment to be like, look in our AEW crate we got pink scissors and they have the Acclaimed on them. You can't see it, but I'm super stoked. There we go.
That's awesome. Yeah, just looking forward to those t-shirts. Those are gonna be a hot sellers for sure. Connor, how do you feel about the Bullet Club taking the gold?
So, I guess I'll first start by saying I like the. What was I going to say at first? Toa. What Adam said. He reminds me a lot of Umaga. Not the character. A little bit of the character. He tries to pull it off, but no one can pull that character off ever again. Like you'll never see a Kamal. Like you'll never see a Umaga. Like that character will not ever go off again. But his in-ring style is a lot of like Umaga. Like when he just comes out of nowhere and throws someone across the ring. Like that's what Umaga used to do. The match itself I thought was really good. For me, that the ROH stuff should stay on ROH. If people aren't gonna I get what they're doing. They're trying to put it all on AEW to get people to subscribe to Honor Club, but they've been doing this for almost a year now, and people still aren't subscribing. If they're not gonna, like Chris Jericho was their world champion. If Chris Jericho's not gonna get people to watch, I don't know who. I mean, they could put the title on Kenny Omega, and people probably still will not watch ROH.
Chris Jericho barely wrestled on ROH when he was the ROH champion.
But yeah, ROH didn't really have much of anything back then. But
I don't even know if they had the TV going when Chris Jericho was the champ. I think that was before it. I think Claudio was the first champion when they got the TV thing, and he actually did wrestle quite a bit.
He did. He really
was a good. Eddie Kingston has made a good showing there, not recently, but before.
No, but he's been around with all his Triple Crown, right? Like he's been out there.
It's really dominated by Athena. Athena is the one. Yeah, she does great with it. She's having a blast there. I think it's a good place for people like that who would have a hard time existing on the main roster but have a lot to offer. Is that Jay White?
See, that's.
I don't know, man. Seems like Jay White's got a lot more to offer.
They've got no one cares about those they're making the.
It was a great spot for Brian Cage.
Like they're making the ROH 6-man titles feel more valuable than the AEW trios titles right now because they've been more defended than the trios titles. Then they have them join together, and now they've just eliminated a whole team that. But I feel like that someone's gonna. I feel like the Acclaim.
We got to be headed towards a unification match. That's all I can figure is that they're tired of having both of these sets of titles, and maybe they're going to unify them. I mean, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. If you don't understand, it's set up so that they fight each other. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And what we're headed towards here is a civil war.
I was thinking about it.
It's going to be belt versus belt, title versus title, unification. Maybe we get rid of I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, I'll
tell you what, Jay White's not going to be on Ring of Honor TV, and that annoys me as well, Connor. I think that's insane. I don't know why.
Can I guess what you were going to say, though, Connor? Sorry.
I was going to say, I want to comment on what Hargrave said. Like, they have a lot of people win these titles, and they're never on there. Like, Eddie Kingston won, but I don't watch ROH like I used to, but I haven't seen like any advertisements of him being on there. Or
he did have a few matches before he became the Triple Crown. I will say that he has been definitely out and about a lot more, but he definitely did defend on ROH.
Had a great match with Angelico. That was amazing.
That was actually really neat.
Really good. It was a lot of nice build.
Like if I see any ROH, it's like advertisements, but I feel like ROH needs to have its own identity a little bit, but I feel like with the trios titles, I think that the Acclaim's going to turn heel, and the reason that they turned, I don't know. I mean, they got a little wild towards Revolution. Like we just talked about 6 or 7 weeks until Revolution, so they have time to build this. But they claimed wanted to join them, so.
I mean, that's probably where it's headed. Acclaim versus Bullet Club at Revolution. Sounds like a match.
I would love heel Acclaimed. That'd be so dope.
I thought it'd be a 3-on-3 in a ladder match.
I think they've taken the Mogul Embassy probably lost the titles. I think there's a good chance that they're going to be get more time on AEW now. That could have been a way for them to kind of say, boom, you lose the titles, we're going to pass them on. Now you guys are going to be full time in AEW, and maybe you guys can go now and actually be contenders for the AEW Trios Championships, which I like them. If they were I thought they did great as 6-man tag champions. I don't think they're going to do a unification just because they're still Ring of Honor and AEW. There's almost no reason to unification if they're going to keep the brands separate, right? Are they going to keep the brands separate? If they're going to just amalgamate, yes, and that makes sense. But if they're still going to keep a reason, right? And there's still a lot of tradition that's happened with those trios, the 6-man belts and Ring of Honor. So I don't know if they want to kill that because they're still more prestigious than AEW's. AEW's is still very new.
Here's something funny when we talk about their value. It's the only set of belts that the Kingdom do not want. The Undisputed Kingdom.
I love how it's just crickets because we're all sitting there going, you
They're the only belts
sir?
that they didn't call out. They want everything else, but not those trios, Tyler.
Like I will say, like with them joining together, like who, like at the pay-per-view, if it's not Bullet Club Gold, who do they have to face? Like they don't have
Adam?
Yeah.
I
Adam?
think the
House of
plan
Black,
is.
right?
I think
Again?
no. I think the plan is. If you remember when Undisputed Kingdom first showed up, who tried to make the save when the numbers game caught up to Bullet Club, the Acclaimed. I think we're headed to a blood and guts match between the Bang Bang Scissor Gang and the United Kingdom.
Yep, possible.
I would watch the shit out of that.
That'd be good.
But,
Yeah.
but I know Matt, what were you trying to finish up? Sorry.
Sorry.
No, I was trying to hear what Matt was finishing up with too on that.
I was just going to say for the keep them, I still think they're going to be split. I think it might be good. I mean, it would be good for Ring of Honor. I mean, if I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because you guys kind of said the points that sending these guys back and forth hasn't really done anything for the ratings for for ROH. So with the Bang Bang Club having more time on Ring of Honor, is that going to do something? I mean, Jay White, how long was Jay White originally there for? Because he keep on showing that, yeah, he's one of the originals. He was there when he was young. Is it, I mean, will that because a bit of nostalgia, because he actually was someone that was part of Ring of Honor, is that going to make it more where Jericho kind of just showed up, right? And we kind of know he was just kind of helping. He wants overall the company rating. So that's what he was just doing his part from a marketing standpoint. Where I think if they actually treat it well and actually show the prestige of the six-man tag belts and actually have a good presence on there, then I think it's worth it. It's worth having them on there. But, you know, like I said, it kind of just feels like it feels a bit like when WWE was showing when they had bought ECW, and it was a WWE production of ECW, and it still kind of lost. Even when you had some of the original cast, it just wasn't the same because it didn't have that feel.
That's
So,
that's
right.
the same way.
But,
That's the same way I feel with this ROH. It's AEW's version of Ring of Honor, basically.
Yeah. So if we move on, we've got a couple more matches here. I'll leave it over to Adam to introduce the next match.
Well, we had our women's match of the night, which was Anna Jay taking on the newly acquired virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. I'm very excited Deonna's over at AEW. I'm a huge fan of hers. And this was a really decent match. Back and forth. Anna sold a lot of Deonna's moves. They had a lot of good back and forth. I think it was a good solid 10-minute match maybe. But Deonna ended up taking the win. Some points in this match. I really love Deonna's running knee. That move is amazing, and anytime anyone can sell it, it looks really painful. And Anna sold it perfectly when she did the running knee to Anna. And then after the match, we had an in-ring segment with Renee interviewing Deonna about calling out Toni Storm, who was at the commentary desk during the match. And that back and forth was so great. That might have been some of the best back and forth I've seen Toni Storm do with any other female wrestler. And I think bringing it out to Deonna, I think that was the perfect match made in heaven. And I definitely see these two fighting for the title at Revolution.
Siren, thoughts?
I absolutely loved it. I love Anna Jay. And I've liked Deonna since she came in. I did go back and watch like a lot of her back catalog and stuff like that. So I do enjoy her as a wrestler. I think she's doing phenomenal in ring. Screw the haters. There's a couple people out there who are just like big old meanies, and I'm going to say it every time we bring her up for the next couple of weeks. Screw them. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of, I love Anna Jay, so I was really hoping that it would go that way. But I mean, I know they've been giving her little wins and stuff here and there lately, so I couldn't really complain. And I kind of knew deep down in the subcockle region of my heart that she was not going to win. But it was really good, and I have to agree with Adam. I think that was some of the best back and forth that we've seen from Toni Storm. But not only that, it's some of the best. When was the last time you saw a chick in ring with a mic?
Or since Soraya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's been a hot freaking minute, right? Like, you know, I'm very excited. It's seeming to be a little bit more now. If we could just get Thunder Rosa out there to tell us what's going on with her, I would be even more ecstatic. But yeah, all in all, it was a really good segment. I loved it.
Great. Connor, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this was a good match. Diana was obviously going to win. There's no way that they're going to have her lose. That was a good match, though. Diana Perazzo, she knows how to wrestle. She knows how to talk. Unlike some of the women we have in AEW that can't do either of those things. But Diana was really good. I really liked.
Just casually buries the women roster.
No, he's just talking about Marina Shafir.
Well,
oh no!
It's only one person I'm talking about when I say that. Or it could be others, but mainly just one person.
I mean, I didn't.
You don't know her, but you know her, okay? But you don't know her. You know her.
We just know what we're shown. That's all.
She is the problem.
Yeah,
but she's not. She's your problem.
She's their problem now. But, I thought this match was really good. I think AEW, this is the most stacked the women's roster has been. If they get Mercedes Moné, I feel like that's even going to go higher. And I liked, even when she debuted, she cut that promo with Mariah May. The woman has not gotten that in a long time. And then after this match, she got on the mic, I believe, and she talked to Toni Storm, and they did a little mic spill. I like that they're giving the women a lot more mic time, and Diana can talk. If you want to watch her TNA stuff, she could, she was one that I feel like she's a better heel than a face, but she's good at both. But she can definitely talk and wrestle. But I really liked all of this.
Great. Mr. Hargrave.
Yeah, I believe it gave us the quote from Toni Storm of "I will punch you in your box." Was that?
I love that.
That's all I got to say about this. That did it for me. That's it. That's all I needed.
You know what? And I mentioned over and over, I know it sounds a broken record with Toni Storm, but I'm the fact that she's running with this and she is just being so over the top and just doing anything. I can see the comedic side, which is awesome. And I love the black and white. I love her references. I love her. She's just into it. And I think, like you said, Connor, they're giving more, to giving the chance or more time to the women's. Well, now there's something that's interesting right now. It's worth it. It doesn't, at this point, I feel it's like, it doesn't really matter if it's the men or the women. If you've got a great gimmick, a great storyline, and people want to tune in to watch that segment and listen to what we have, then feed it, right? And, but they brought in, I think, Donna coming in, and being that there's history and she can be on the mic and she has a good presence as well. So I think it's a good matchup, which is good. I think it's gonna be interesting and there's something there to watch. I think people will be excited for this one. And again, I'm still saying that Toni Storm's going to hold this title at least until Wembley.
Yeah,
I think she's going to be.
Agree.
If you guys, what do you guys think about her title reign?
I would have to agree with you. I mean, I hope that she has some really fun feuds because she's so fun. And I just the Mariah May thing is going to be amazing. I think everything that she has coming up is going to be super awesome and entertaining to watch. So I wouldn't mind her even holding on to it for that long. That's the thing. I don't have a problem with long title reigns as long as they're interesting. You know what I mean? Like if they would have left the belt on Hangman like a week longer, I would have stopped watching. No, I wouldn't have. I absolutely love wrestling. But seriously, I was this close, but yeah, no, I would love it if she held on to it until Wembley. I think that'd be amazing.
No, Adam knows I really like Toni Storm. The night that she lost the second time, I was pissed. There's no reason she should have lost then. There's no reason
at Grand Slam.
It was I think it was Dynamite 200 when Sheeta.
It was Sheeta, yeah. 200.
I hated it.
Sheeta deserved to have the title for a little bit in front of actual people.
Well, Toni deserves it more because
yeah, I mean she does. She's phenomenal.
But I feel like that she's been one of the best women's signs that they've ever made. The best women's wrestling match I've ever seen in person was her and Jamie Hayter at Full Gear.
Oh yeah.
It's good you mentioned that because I think that's where this is headed. I think she's going to hold that belt until All In for a returning Jamie Hayter to take it off of her.
Yes,
I just got the full body shivers, you guys.
I feel like a lot of people. That's got to be the best women's pay-per-view match, and even up the stakes and do a third match between the two. at technically 3, at Wembley would set that might be the best women's match on pay-per-view ever. Yeah. So I got to say about that.
Prediction now, Wembley Stadium. They're going to do the same thing they did this year. Fatal 4-way. Be Toni Storm, Mariah May, Jamie Hayter, and Mercedes Moné.
You don't think
That is your fatal 4-way at All In, because that is going to put people in the seats. And I predict also, one more prediction for the women's division. I predict Julia from Stardom is going to debut in AEW at either Forbidden Door or All In.
So shall it be written, so shall it be done, viewers. Keep an eye on that, because we're going to hold him to his word. Remember, guys.
Adam, I like your prediction, but
Me too.
if you have Saraya, wouldn't that be all for English women in Wembley?
Technically, you would still have 4. No, because Monet is from America.
No, but if you didn't have her in and you had Saraya.
And if you had Saraya instead of Monet, that'd be 4 British women. And actually, no, it'd be 1 New Zealand, because isn't
she's Australian.
Australian. So you'd have Jamie from Australia, and the other 3 would be British.
No, what's her name? Is it Storm?
Tony is also Storm. Yeah, Tony and Jamie are both Australian, and then you'd have Mariah May and then Saraya, both from England. I think so. I could be off on there.
Let me check. But I don't know about Hayter.
I think. What about
Hayter is British? But I do know that Toni Storm is Australian. Because she calls herself the Australian Marilyn Monroe. So
okay, fair enough. Okay, maybe.
But they'd be from overseas, you know.
But that'd still be a good 4-way.
It would be phenomenal.
I would still enjoy that.
It would be but you could always have Mercedes come in and against the TNT champion and that championship match against Julia Hart.
Oh yeah. The TBS title. Yeah.
Yep. So we segue over. We got 2 more matches, and the next match features an individual who hasn't been in the ring in 13 months.
Yeah, we have a tag match between Top Flight and the returning Private Party, Mark Quinn, which is funny because actually the Dynamite and Rampage show that Connor and I went to, Mark Quinn actually walked past us on the outside of the arena. And it was crazy. And he goes, Mark Quinn. And Mark Quinn's like, hey, like he acknowledged us. Like, we're like, oh my God, he's here. Like, he might be healthy. He might be in the ring tonight. But yeah, no, first tag team match back for Private Party against probably one of the better tag teams in the division, Top Flight. I think the match is really well. They're both high-flying teams. The match was really wonky at times, but I still enjoyed it. It was still a good tag match. And then obviously Private Party got the win on some heel tactics with Mark holding the rope while pinning. I can't remember if it was Darius or Darren, but he held the rope while they were pinning him. But the crowd seemed into it. They were very excited to see Private Party back, especially when that music hits. They're all excited about it. And even Private Party was celebrating with everybody in the crowd, high-fiving the kids. So I think this was a good tag match back for Private Party.
They pinned Darius. And I'm very glad. I was, if they would have pinned Dante, I would have been like, yo. But it was a very odd pin. It was a sloppy pin, in my opinion. I don't know if it was actually supposed to be at that moment that he was pinned. It looked weird. And everybody looked all confuzzled. And I believe there was a rope touch that we were talking about during the live reaction. We're like, did nobody see that? Like, what's going on here? Or like he was, I don't know, but it looked
everyone's
weird.
Body parts were all over those ropes. Yeah,
it looked funky, right? I was like, this is an odd. They were just, the ring awareness was not there. They were a little too close. They probably should have been a little further in. But other than that, yeah, there was like there's some really cool spots. I always get really nervous when everybody like goes up real high. And like Dante, as I mentioned while we were watching that, it was the very first injury that I had ever seen like while I was watching a show, like as it was happening kind of thing. And so like whenever he gets up in spots, I'm like, ah, right? So yeah, no, but it was good. It was good, minus the wonky ending. I thought it was a little wonky, a little sloppy.
Right, I agree. Connor, what do you think of this one?
For me, I thought this was really good. This is one of the matches that I was looking forward to all night. Private Party has been one of my favorite teams since AEW started. They're very unique. The private party and their entrance. I like that they brought back the no.
Stanchion and the security guards. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love the stanchion.
for a while they stopped doing it. They did the Hardy Party bull crap. I'm glad that they're separated now, and then they're like, well, I think we're probably going to get Private Party and the Hardys again. Eventually, someday.
The word is that Matt's on his bullshit again.
Really?
That's the kayfabe.
Gold. But yeah, I thought this one was pretty good up until the end. I feel like they were attempting to get a rope break, but he didn't
Quite.
By the time the referee hit 3, he put his hand on the rope. So, but I thought this match was really good. It was one of the matches I was looking forward to. I was glued to my phone watching it while we were doing a live reaction. Yeah, this was one of my favorite matches of the night.
Great. Mr. Hargrave.
This is my match of the night, but I'm absolutely biased because Mark knows who I am, and that blows my mind. Like, I recognized him, and he recognized me because he watched my Fight Forever videos, which was nuts. So I can't say I'm just, this was amazing. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Mark looked great out there. I love seeing him jump back and forth. The spot he did where he jumped over the ropes, both sides, like 3 times. That's great after being out of the ring for that long. And that might have led to the finish as well, being kind of off. If you're talking about ring awareness, he hasn't been in a wrestling ring for 13 months. So I give him an absolute pass. And I'm super excited for them to run this match back. The latest news is they're going to do this match again. I want to see Private Party versus Top Flight at least 2 more times. You could give it to me 5 more times. Top Flight barely got any offense in, so I think they're saving up. This is a wrap up.
Yeah, I would actually. I agree with Adam in a way. I did find some wonky parts. I really I felt this match needed a babyface and heel angle because there was too much almost like handshakes. And then, okay, now friends, good competition. And then to end with the hand on the rope was kind of like, okay, handshake. And then they kind of threw in a heel move. I really just wish it was more established, like from the get-go. That way, you know, I just have a little more, flair to it. I found the times that they were trying to grapple and it on the mat and they're trying to flip and it was just kind of looked awkward.
The ground game's not as strong.
Yeah, I'm like, just stick to the high flying. It's not your forte, but I can see how difficult that kind of grappling, techniques are, right? And you've got some amazing grapplers, like a Bryan Danielson, for example. But you can see that it just looks awkward. But again, granted, I know he came back. It's been 13 months, so there's going to be a bit of that ring rust in there. So granted, there's probably some nerves. It was nice, and I think it was nice to see. I mean, these guys were there since the beginning of AEW, and it was nice to get the crowd to acknowledge that with the welcome back chant. So as a show of respect. So I think that was a great point. But if we move on to our main event, Adam.
Main event. The cool, handsome, cold-hearted, handsome devil himself, Hook. Challenging Samoa Joe for the AEW World Title. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It showed Hook as this little guy that can fight any big guy in the ring. Obviously, there were parts where he got some offense in, he got some punches in. He kind of kicked out of some moves. Joe was beating him up, but he still kept getting up. There was times when he did his suplexes. The one thing I will take away from this, and I might be biased, I don't know how I feel about Hook kicking out at 1 from the 1 muscle buster. I was kind of iffy on that because it's such a protected move, that a lot of people don't kick out at 1, but then you have Hook do it. But I think it was kind of a play of like Joe sees this guy and as maybe he is a tough guy. Joe ends up winning, retaining the title. As he's leaving, Hook kind of does a la Tommy Dreamer ECW days, is like, that all you got? Come on, give me more. And Joe goes back in there and hits him with another muscle buster and, leaves him laying, and Hook gets right back up. It's like, dude, I'm not even down yet. And as Joe's about to go in there and do it again, we get, Adam Page's music, Cowboy Hangman Adam Page comes out to make the save, because he has been gearing up to try to take that world title again. But at the same time as he's, helping Hook up in the crowd, you see Swerve and Prince Nana, so, obviously this was a good booked ending of seeing Joe as a target, but also the continuation of the story between Hangman and Swerve. Obviously, that's probably the best feud either one of these guys have been in, even though I'm a big fan of Swerve. And Hook really showed a lot in that ring, and I was very happy with his performance, especially going against a big guy like Samoa Joe. So I honestly thought the main event was really good. And honestly, I'm very excited to see where Hook goes from here.
Nice. Connor, how do you feel about this one?
Did Siren go?
Hmm?
Did you go, Siren?
Nope.
All right, I guess I can go
Oh.
first.
Yeah, you can. I don't mind.
Sorry. Hey,
That's okay. I got all the time in the world.
Hey, sorry, my apologies. I was looking at Connor and I just said Connor. So sorry. Go ahead, Siren.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was really cool. The one thing I'm gonna say that I've been actually saying like all week to people who have been like, I don't really like the one and then the pop up. I'm really hoping that they kind of run with it. I mean, who is Hook's dad? What do you think he was raised doing? Kid's been taking bumps since he was old enough to take bumps. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I feel like I really hope they run it with that, like how he was literally made for this, built for this. He may be smaller in stature, but I mean the endurance that you build. I mean, some people come into it, they've been wrestling for 2-3 years. But I mean, he's been doing it, he's born into it, I mean, I hate to bane it, but like I really think that that's what I've been pushing the last week in my like little side narrative when people are all like, he's so little and he really shouldn't have just popped up. I mean, it does go to show that he is strong. Like, he may be small, but his endurance, the fact that he's been training his entire life with somebody like Taz, who is going to throw him around like that, you know what I mean? He's been working with these bigger gentlemen since he was knee high, and that's what I'm hoping they run with for that, because you're right, a lot of people have been complaining about it, and I hope that they address it in a very like in a subtler way, but like, I mean, the kid was bred to do this, but yeah, it was a really good match. I loved it. I would whip out my Samoa Joe flag right now that I got in the AEW crate, but I'm really lazy and it's halfway across the room. But yeah, no, really good. I liked the ending. I liked having everybody come in. I really, 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 really hope that they don't give the belt to Hangman ever, ever, ever again. But yeah, but like, it was good. And I like having him there because he is a good like competition. He does bring in good storyline for the other people who deserve the belt a lot more. So
Damn.
Connor. So now we're back to you, Connor.
That was I'm gonna clip that for one of the
I've never been shy about my opinion of Hangman. You guys know it. I've never been shy.
Hey, I'm not shy about my opinion from Rena Shavir, so
exactly. We each have our guy.
This
You're all
match,
entitled to your opinions.
I thought this was good. Very first good title defense for Samoa Joe. I feel like it was kind of obvious he was going to win. Maybe one day Hook will be world champion, AEW years down the road. But I hope that Joe has a good title run. I hope he's not a transitional champion because he's kind of established him being a leader in AEW now. If it wasn't for Samoa Joe, we might not have got that final match with CM Punk and him. It seems like he's taken up a leader role in AEW. It kind of seems. So I hope that he's champion, not just like losing it at Revolution and that's it. Because Samoa Joe is still a very good wrestler in the ring. He is. I've always liked Samoa Joe. From TNA to I've always enjoyed Samoa Joe. But I thought this particular match was really good. I thought that sometimes Hook really got hurt because I remember the table
into the announce desk and then right onto the ring apron, and you were just like, ah.
Yeah, because I remember one spot where like the table just collapsed, like it wasn't nothing. And then Hook wasn't moving there for a minute, and then I really got hurt. But this was a really good match, a very good first title defense for Samoa Joe. And I'm looking forward to what they do for. I feel like at Revolution we're going to get a triple threat: Joe, Hangman, and Swerve. That's looking. If I was doing it, I feel like that Joe's is going to win. He's going to pin Hangman, so it doesn't hurt Swerve because it feels like he's getting hotter and hotter.
Oh yeah.
So if he doesn't get pinned, it really doesn't hurt him. But either way, I'm actually going to Revolution, and I really enjoy seeing that match. So
Nice. That'll be a good pay-per-view for sure. Mr. Hargrave, what are your thoughts on this main event?
Yeah, I don't see Samoa Joe being a transitional champion that isn't like him. He's literally undefeated as the Ring of Honor TV champion. Never happened. Nobody ever beat him. So he's pretty strong. All of his previous title reigns go on for ages. They are true reigns of terror. He is an undefeatable monster. That's kind of his thing. And so I get the point about kicking out of his muscle buster, but at the same time, would we say that if it was Taz kicking out? Like, probably not even back in the day. And he's always been a smaller guy, and so is his son. And that's kind of the tagline. You know, he's triple tough. To speak towards him not like burying Samoa Joe, Hook got in like zero offense. He did like one suplex on Samoa Joe the whole time, so he got beat around that ring silly. And all he was able to do to maintain his position of strength was to keep getting up, which might have been more of him being like stupid or something. I don't know. I thought it was fine. It didn't affect me that way.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, this match last week, I kind of mentioned I was like, I kind of hummed and hawed this, like, why is Hook? Why is he get the match? And I don't know. You know what? This ended up being, to me, actually a very entertaining match. Hook did a great job, and he took bumps, like Samoa Joe beat the shit out of this kid. Anyone who's been feeling that he's been entitled and just given the FTW championship and just winning his winning streak up against jobbers, he got choked out. He's usually the guy choking out guys, and he got choked out by Samoa Joe. So, you know, it's almost like, hey kid, you want a shot? I'm taking you to the limit here, man. You're getting in the ring with me. And he really did. He didn't show any mercy on him. I think this was one of these matches that was a win-win for both. It was definitely, I think, a great showing and a quote-unquote win for Hook, because it still showed he can take a beating. He still got back up. He took a more of a beating, and he was willing to do it again. And then when he went Hangman kind of went to help him up, he was kind of like, okay, you know what? I don't need you to hold me. I can walk out of my own 2 feet here. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a great showing. And I think that's going to, because again, I always see that Tony Khan rewards guys on great performances. So even if they're, you know, they lose a match, it's like, you know what? You've done great. You're going to start getting up. So I think this was a turning point, I think, for Hook. Anybody who's kind of questioning his ability and, you know, his being is a valid, you know, wrestler, not just based on his father's merits. I think this is a big one for him. I think this is definitely a turning point for Hook, and I think it's respecting. I think people actually really respected him after this, because I don't know, that hit off that table, off the commentator table, looked. Because if you look, it almost like it hit the back of his neck, like bad. I don't know. I know those kind of covers are a little bit lighter and they're floppy, but it almost like he could have very close to hitting that edge, and then again getting the slammed on the ring apron, the hardest point
right after.
Yeah, no, I was pretty impressed with that. So you know what? I thought it was a great way. So now I see it. I don't see it as a way. So I get it. It's still part of the storytelling. It's still brought out Adam Page. It's still brought out Swerve. It's still bringing this 3-way. That to me, it looks like going to be a triple threat match, which would be great. I'd love to see that as a triple threat match for those guys. That'd be insane. So if they're working towards anything like that, that'd be amazing for me. So
anyone complaining about Hook, I mean, this is what you got to do. You got to build your young stars, and you got to give them moments to do that. I mean, yeah, we can put over Samoa Joe all day. His time in AEW is going to be limited ultimately. Hook, he's going to be there hopefully for his entire career, so you got to build him up.
Yeah, and to go off of that too, we talk about Taz, you know, the lineage of being Taz's son, but a lot of people don't remember he actually trained with QT Marshall, Cody Rhodes, Brian Myers. Like, he trained with these other guys as well coming up, so he had a lot of help on how to establish himself as a pro wrestler, as a character. And I think it's been working out, in that match against Joe just shows, hey, this kid can hang even with the big guys, even with the top name guys in the promotion. And honestly, to go off of what we're saying about Revolution, I totally agree. I think Joe should hold on to that. I think we do have a triple threat, and I think he should pin Hangman Page because that gives that also. But here's the story, because that also gives story to, hey, the only two men that can face one-on-one that have pinned a previous world champion, Hangman Page, Swerve and Joe. So now that gives Swerve kind of a leeway into a singles match with Joe, and I seriously still feel that before 2024 is over, Swerve Strickland's going to win that AEW world title. I just feel it. The man is a workhorse. I don't think I can find another person in another promotion that has really was dropped the ball in one promotion, jump over, and just kick it off on another, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that.
All right. Well, we're coming out to the hour, the 1 hour here, and I just wanted to drop, just get your guys' thoughts on the news that just came out today. As we just switch over quickly to WWE, I'll be remiss if I didn't at least bring it up and get your thoughts of WWE going to be streaming on Netflix starting in 2025, and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, joining the parent company TKO and actually being on the board of directors, which is big, and getting his naming right. So, there's a lot of people, though a lot of people aren't fans, aren't necessarily happy about this because they're wondering what's to come and what they have to pay. Is it going to stream live, commercial free? Adam, what were your thoughts if you heard this news today?
Well, like I said, when you brought this subject up before we, started this episode that we're going to go over it, I said it. WWE does the same thing with Peacock when they do they're called PLEs, but they're pay-per-views. They do it with Peacock, and you have to pay for streaming for Peacock in order to watch these pay-per-views, whether with NXT or with WWE. So I think this is just another brilliant move for TKO. With WWE under their umbrella. I think this is a brilliant move of getting more revenue for a streaming service, because that also now opens the door for AEW moving forward with WBD. I think that opens the door for them to actually go into a streaming service with Warner Brothers now, because there was word that Warner Brothers may have gone to WWE to try to get streaming service with them. But now that WWE has signed with Netflix, now you go back to the whole, maybe AEW can do Warner Brothers now. Now you can get that other promotion there. So both promotions can thrive. And as far as The Rock goes, listen, I loved Dwayne Johnson back when he was The Rock. Him coming in, it's still his home. WWE is his home. It's where he grew up. He's he's in that family of, Rocky Maivia, the great, the great Peter Maivia. He's part of that family. And so I think it's brilliant that he comes in on the board and then he gets his name rights, because he kind of developed that character. People give credit to Vince for coming up with characters, but it was Rock that actually developed that character and made it his own. That's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these wrestlers, they come up with these characters and they run with it. They may be given the idea, but they run with it. And so I think this is smart. And to finish that up, a lot of people are seeing this now as The Rock putting himself in a position of maybe doing one last run in WWE, maybe to win a title before he's done in the ring. I don't think that's true. I just read an article recently that there was rumor that at the day one episode of Raw, he was backstage hugging Cody Rhodes. And a lot of people are saying this is taking the spotlight from Cody, because Cody's the one that should win the world title at WrestleMania this year. But The Rock's coming back. He dropped that promo where he said, maybe I'll be the head of the table. I don't think that's true. I think they'll have one match, and I think it'll be at Elimination Chamber. I think Roman beats him, but I do think Rock gets involved at WrestleMania to help Cody win. But I love the fact that Rock went back home and is now working for the company. I think it's brilliant, especially now he's making business moves, especially with the unification of the football league. So really excited to see where the rest of this year goes as far as streaming services without promotions, especially now that that they got with Netflix. Now I'm excited that Warner Brothers and AEW are going to get a deal. So,
all right. Siren, what are your thoughts on this news?
As somebody who doesn't have cable and who hasn't had cable since I moved out when I was 17, it's super exciting because this way I can watch it. Hopefully, as long as Canadian Netflix gets it, which I mean, who knows? We don't have Peacock up here. I literally have to pay for a VPN if I want to watch or stream wrestling of any kind. Well, from WWE. So this will be huge for me if I can do that. I'm very excited. But yeah, no, I really, 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 really hope that Cody gets his shot. I hope he gets his belt. I swear. I made a joke earlier and I'm going to put it out there. And I was like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if he won by count out? Like, you know, ha ha ha, right? Please don't let that be so. Please don't let that be so. And yeah, and I think it'd be awesome. I'm really excited. I hope it does. And I hope it comes to Canadian Netflix. And I hope that AEW swiftly follows and I can get it through Amazon Prime.
All right.
Yeah.
Connor.
Yeah. You guys still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
I was really, I was at work when I saw this. I was really shocked because we were talking about it. Me and Mr. Jacobs was talking about just yesterday that WWE they get their TV deals done really quick. Like they don't mess around with that stuff. Like I remember like people like they were in discussions with WB Discovery and FX and then Disney and then they were all over the place. Nick Khan and Triple H, which for me I already have Netflix. It's like $7.99 with ads, so. I mean, it's not really a problem for me. And basically, like Adam said, it's basically the same thing you do for Peacock. Like I know they don't have like the weekly shows, but the pay-per-views, you just pay one price, and it's basically the same thing, really. But I also like the idea of someone also reported it today that AEW could possibly, which the person who said it, he's been saying it for a while that AEW will be on Max whenever they get this new deal started, and it's probably going to be their pay-per-views are probably going to be on Max, their streaming library, like all the past AEW shows, past Dynamites, Rampages, Collisions, pay-per-views.
That would be cool.
And I'm 95% sure that AEW will, probably 99. There's no way they're not getting renewed at this point. Like something drastic would have to happen. But I think AEW gets renewed sometime this year. Their deal expires in October, but I think they'll get renewed by then or before then. Yeah, I think this is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. TNA has also been really good here lately. I watched Hard to Kill, and then I watched the first episode of TNA back on TV, and it was really, really good. It reminded me of the old TNA, and I grew up watching TNA, so it was really fun to watch that. So this is the first time in a while that, at least for me, that WWE, AEW, and TNA are all exciting to watch.
Really, I agree, Mr. Hargrave.
Yeah, it seems like a good day for AEW fans because this seems to get WWE out of their way. They got another day they can play around with as well. We don't have Raw on Monday on cable, so now if AEW wanted to move around or pick up another day, that's on there for them. As far as The Rock and WrestleMania, Siren, I don't know. I can't get excited about Cody Rhodes winning the belt again. At this point, I'm tired of being disappointed. I hope it's a three-way between Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, and I hope Roman Reigns takes them both, stacks them up, and pins them, because that way I won't be upset when it happens.
But what if he won by count out? It'd be poetic justice.
It's like I'm kind of a bit mixed on the Netflix. I get it from a financial standpoint, and the company is here to make money, and theirs is growing. They're a giant, and they're using that, and they're smart. They see where the future is, being on a platform like Netflix. That's all. I'm sure along with that is going to be a slew of potential wrestling movies, bios, like documentaries, and Netflix does make some great content. So if they're going to apply that same, they have some great documentaries, so they kind of still do their Netflix way and able to tell a great wrestling story, then I'm all for it. Again, even like AEW and in Canada, right? The Collision and Rampage you have to stream it on TSN. on the app, right? So that they've already started doing that in Canada. So we only get Dynamite, on cable TV right now. So I can see it's kind of unfortunate because, again, to go back to cable, I have Netflix, so I'm not really worried about it. But I'm reading a lot of comments being, "That's great. Oh, great! Now I got to buy something else. I really didn't. I hate Netflix. Thanks. Now I have to do that." And people are like, "Is it going to be commercial free if I'm paying, or do I still going to get commercials and I have to pay for content?" So it'd be interesting to see where they're going with it. I have a feeling they're not going to waste The Rock, and I really do think. And I know there's always been talk; they've always wanted to do a Rock and Roman main event. So I still think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be. I can see it's going to be Punk, maybe Punk and Cody Rhodes with each other against, and then have The Rock and Roman. So, but it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see. An interesting day, and I'll agree with you, Connor. I know I mentioned just before we started with the TNA. I love the feel of it. When they did, like, basically they're saying they're doing a reboot. It really feels like a reboot. There's a certain excitement, and I mean, I love Osprey. Like, I love that they're bringing these guys in. They're bringing in some world talent as the little guys, and these guys look like they want to be here and they want to wrestle in TNA and putting on some great shows. So I was hooked. Like, I thought that was a fantastic episode, and I think I'm going to start tuning in a little more. I love that feel that they have, and yeah, like I said, it is a good time to be a wrestling fan. There's lots of choice. It's really moving up, and there's a lot of money to be made, I think, in wrestling today. So, well, we're coming on to just 11 an hour and 11 minutes here. So I think it's been a great show, and another full house, some great reviews. We've got some great stuff, content to watch coming up, and thank you all, for joining. Any final thoughts from anybody from this show? We're all good. Awesome. We're all talked out. Perfect. Thanks again. Thanks for everyone that's tuning in. Drop us a line. If you have any questions, please add it to the comments and like and subscribe and tell all your family and friends. Thanks very much. We'll see you all next.
Bye.